and move on.
Everybody get come on now. Come on now. Come on, come on. Come on with your come on. Come on, come on. Everybody over there.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. Today's R&B and Classic Soul, or your number one station for R&B. That's what we say now. Our next guest has dedicated his career to promoting an awareness of black history through writing and through the power of spoken word. Here to do a reading for us is author and poet Claude Green. Now, we welcome you to the show. I know you were listening to all of our conversations or the interviews before, and you mentioned something about the third or fourth grade.
Right. A little background on me. I am a retired professional engineer.
Yes.
But I've conducted what I call all-story cultural awareness sessions at SCI Chester Prison.
Yes.
I used to do it weekly. And one of the things that came up in that work was that a judge came in and told the prisoners that they would check testing kids in the fourth grade to determine the need for prisons in the future.
I heard that a number of times before. How do they do that testing?
Okay.
Do you know?
A sociologist came in and explained it. What happens is that from the first grade to the third grade, you learn to read. From the fourth grade on, you read to learn. So if you cannot read by the time you're in the fourth grade,
they think you're going to go to jail.
Well, I'm sure they have a chart where it's predictable how many of those kids that cannot read in the fourth grade.
So you're saying they're building those prisons based upon that statistic right there, or
yes,
what they think is going to happen?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
They've admitted it in a number of states. As a matter of fact, one of the governors, one of the men running for governor in the state of Virginia brought that out, and that was part of his campaign, that he wanted to put an end to that sort of thing in Virginia.
Well, you seem like you're a historian, too. You handed me this sheet of paper here that says,
when slaves pined for Dixieland on Manhattan. Actually, what that's saying is that the Dixie in Dixieland was in Manhattan. That's what Dixieland is really all about. Actually, the song itself was written by a black man, by two black brothers, the Snowden brothers in Ohio.
Snowden brothers,
right? And it was made popular by this Emmett. Can't think of his name now.
And how far does that go back?
This
is like the 1800s, 1700s?
I got this from
I see a date on 1800s.
Yeah, it's back in the 1800s.
1800s newspaper article.
Right, yeah.
All right, so tell us about your book. What do we have here?
Okay, my book is called What We Dragged Out of Slavery With Us. And basically it is sort of a compilation of my family's history and Negro history, slave narratives and that sort of thing, put in a form so that my family won't lose their history.
Yeah.
So basically what you see there on the cover basically is a picture that was taken inside the kitchen of the house where my great-great-grandmother was a slave. Wow. And if you look at the picture, I don't know how close you can get it, but underneath, this is the actual picture of the house.
Yeah.
And the room that we're talking about is on the lower right-hand corner. These top row marks were put there by my great-great-grandmother.
And what are those marks for?
They represent the births of her children that were born on that plantation.
Okay, yeah.
And then the next set were put there by my great-grandmother.
Oh, look at that.
They will represent the children that were born to her.
A lot of children in the family there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
How did you find this?
Actually, the owner of that plantation today, I got to know him. I got to know them through a friend of the family, and they invited me over. Actually, he found those. They were on the wall behind some plaster or something, and he found them. And he had, when I went over to visit them, he showed them to me. I didn't. And he asked me, he said, "Do you know what these are?" I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he told me.
He wanted to know. Maybe it was the markings indicating where the money was hidden or something like that.
No, he knew.
He knew?
He knew. I didn't know.
Yeah.
He had to explain it to me. Yeah, right. Interesting. He flies a Confederate flag.
Oh, wow. A lot of people still do in the South, you know.
Yeah, he flies a Confederate
So
flag.
what got you into finding, you did the genealogy thing and found out
Yes.
where everybody was
Yeah.
from? Did you
Yeah.
go to England? How far did it take you?
Well, I was able to go back to, on this side of the ocean, back to about 1790, 1785, somewhere back in there. Actually, 1761.
Uh-huh.
Somewhere in there, I have a tree that's in there. Basically, what happened was I found this particular house back in 1969. It was just a house for sale.
Wow.
And
You should have purchased it back then.
I tried to. And when I told my great uncle, who is now dead, about this house, and he said, "Oh, that old slavery time house."
Yeah.
Then he went on to tell me the story about about this house, the history of that house, and from that I went into some studies and went back and checked genealogy and so on and so
So
forth.
those are some of the things that people can find in this book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you also do poetry.
No, I don't do poetry. But what I did want
You do readings.
I did. What I had here was a list of things that I like to talk about, and this is a short list. Things that most people don't know about Black history.
Go ahead.
Okay, all people on the face of the earth today are descended from one African woman. I don't know. That was on the History Channel, a documentary. Civilization began in the Nile Valley of Africa. And there are many names for that area. Some people call it Kemet. We refer to it as Egypt today.
Yeah.
And the book of Genesis is actually called Mizraim. The writer of the book of the Gospel of St. Mark was an African. Most people don't realize that. And actually, they say that the other 3 Gospels are based on Mark's Gospel. So basically, when you read the Gospels, all the Gospels, they're based on, an African's version of the Gospels.
Yeah.
Okay? It was technology taken out of Africa into Southern Europe by the Moors that led Europe out of her dark ages. The dark ages of Africa were not the dark ages. I mean, the dark ages of Europe were not the dark ages of Africa, because during that time we had the great kingdoms of Ghana, Mali, Songhai, and one of the kings of Mali, Mansa Musa, gave away so much gold on his Hajj that he drove down the price of gold for 10 years. When Columbus landed on these shores, there was a black man that actually piloted one of his ships, a guy named Pedro Nino. And he wasn't a slave.
Spanish guy.
Right. Well, no, he was Portuguese.
Oh.
Let's put it like this. He was half Portuguese. He was called Pedro the Black.
Yeah, well, with the slave triangle, a lot of the islands were inhabited by Africans and Spaniards and Indians, Italiano Indians.
Right.
So for a lot of Puerto Ricans, those are the 3 people that they are.
Right.
The African, the Spaniard, and the Italiano Indian. So they are black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So you can go to Puerto Rico or one of those other islands and you see somebody look like Joe Frazier and they speak Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're a historian. You study a lot of this.
Right. There were Africans that came to this continent that were never slaves. People don't realize that. There was Africans that escaped from slavery and lived to themselves in the swamps in desolate areas that were not slaves, and they were called Maroons. Most people don't know they existed. The first man to die for this country was a man named Crispus Attucks. A lot of people know that.
Yeah, he was in the American Revolution.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was the start of the American Revolution. There were Haitian soldiers that fought for the United States during the Revolutionary War, including the first king of Haiti, whose name was Henry Christophe.
There you go. Give me 2 more.
I can give you one more.
Give me one more.
Okay, one more. A black pilot named Eugene Bullard shot down German aircraft before the Americans even got into the First World War.
What about the Tuskegee Airmen?
Okay, this is 25 years before the Tuskegee Airmen, and he was called the Black Swallow of Death.
Oh, they didn't want to run into him, all right?
Right.
So
yeah.
give us the information on your book because they're wrapping me up right about now.
Okay. All right. You can get more information about me and what I do on ourstory89.com.
Ourstory.com.
89.com. Right.
Are you going to be anywhere signing or anything like that?
Not in the near future.
All right.
Right.
Thank you so much. We really
very welcome.
appreciate you. We got a whole lot more for you, but they want to wrap me up. So we need to get you back again so you can talk more about the history of our wonderful people, okay? Claude Green, the poet. I thought you were going to hit us with some poetry.
No, unless you want to say something about.
Well, they wrapping me up right now. But thank you so much. You come back again, all right?
Okay.
All right, that's about all the time we have for today's show. Many thanks to all of our guests for stopping by, and of course you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. Check out Darren Jaime. He's on Wednesdays. He's going to be really nice. You go to WBLS.com or you can go to BronxNet.com and find out more on the shows. We'll be on again today at 5 and at 10 tonight, and then tomorrow on the 10s again and at 5 o'clock, right? Always remember this, what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. Happy birthday, Mike Nobby, from all of us here at BronxNet. Have a great day. Love you all. Bye.